Rain lashed against the grimy windows of Fab Fine's Discount Emporium, turning the bustling downtown street into a watercolor smear of gray umbrellas and brake lights. Inside, the assault was relentless. Fluorescent lights buzzed like angry wasps, scanners shrieked, and saccharine pop music warred with the clatter of shopping carts. The air hung thick with the scent of cheap plastic, stale popcorn, and human weariness. Maya Patel, 22, stood at register 3, her fingers moving with robotic precision over a chipped ceramic unicorn. Her dark eyes, usually bright with artistic curiosity, were dulled by exhaustion. The blue polyester apron hung loose on her slender frame, a hand-me-down uniform from a departed coworker. A faint coffee stain bloomed near the hem, a battle scar from yesterday's 10-hour shift. Day 387, or maybe 388. Fab Finds, where dreams of paying rent shrivel up and die under fluorescent lights, and the crushing weight of Brad's superiority complex, she thought, forcing a smile for Mrs. Henderson, who clutched limited edition commemorative plates like porcelain grenades. Minimum wage buys minimum respect, especially here. Brad Thompson, 50s, the store manager, patrolled the checkout lanes like a shark in cheap polyester. His polished shoes clicked on the linoleum, his tie knotted with military precision, his face perpetually etched in a scowl that could curdle milk. Rules were his scripture, compassion, a sign of unforgivable weakness. He stopped behind Chloe at register 4, snapping his fingers inches from her ear. "Chloe! Speed it up. The line's backing up to sporting goods. This isn't social hour, efficiency. It's in the handbook. Page 14, subsection C." His voice was a nasal whip. Chloe jumped, fumbling a bottle of discount shampoo. Yes, Brad. Sorry, Brad." Her cheeks flushed crimson. Maya caught Chloe's eye, offering a tiny, sympathetic grimace. Chloe managed a shaky smile back. Brad's radar pinged. He swiveled, planting himself beside Maya. "Problem, Maya?" he hissed, his breath smelling of stale coffee and resentment. "Got something more important than processing Mrs. Henderson's treasures? Page 22, subsection A, focus, undivided, attention." Maya kept her eyes on the scanner, her voice carefully neutral. "No problem, Brad. Just ensuring customer satisfaction. Page 1, preamble. The customer is king, or queen, or commemorative plate enthusiast." Brad's eyes narrowed. He hated her quiet intelligence, the spark of defiance she couldn't quite smother. "Watch the attitude, clock's ticking. Breaks not for another 47 minutes. Make them count." He adjusted his tie with a violent jerk and stalked off towards housewares. Maya exhaled slowly, the brief tension draining her meager reserves. "Just survive," she told herself. "Scan the plates. Smile. Ignore Brad. Save every penny for art supplies." One day, suddenly, a commotion erupted near the entrance. Heads snapped around. A woman stumbled through the automatic doors, utterly drenched. Rain plastered her dark hair to her face, her thin coat soaked through. She clutched a wailing toddler against her chest, the child's face red and contorted, small fists beating against her mother's shoulder. A worn diaper bag slipped off her arm, spilling wipes, a half-crushed juice box, and a lone, soggy sock onto the wet floor. "Please!" The woman, Lena, 30s, gasped, her voice raw with panic. Her eyes darted wildly, scanning the overwhelming chaos of the store. "The bathroom!" "Where's the bathroom? My daughter. Lily! She's sick. She needs to go now. Please, I'm begging you." Lily's cries escalated, sharp and piercing, cutting through the canned music. Shoppers stared, some with sympathy wrinkling their brows, others with annoyance tightening their lips at the disruption. Lena swayed, exhaustion and sheer terror radiating from her like heat. She looked seconds from collapsing. Brad materialized like a specter of corporate wrath, planting himself squarely in front of her, blocking her path deeper into the store. His face was thunderous. "Ma'am!" he barked, his voice slicing through Lily's cries. "You need to control your child. This is a place of business. Excessive noise violates store policy. Page 7, subsection D. You're disrupting other paying customers. He gestured dismissively at the gawking crowd. Lena flinched as if struck. Tears mingled with rainwater on her cheeks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But she can't hold it. She's got a stomach bug. Please just tell me where the restroom is. I'll be 2 minutes. Brad drew himself up, inflating with self-righteous authority. Employees and paying customers only. Store policy. Page 31, subsection F. Security risk. Cleanliness issue. Liability. He jabbed a rigid finger towards the rain-lashed exit. You need to leave immediately if you cannot control the situation. Lena's face crumpled. She looked down at the squirming, distressed child in her arms, then back at Brad's implacable glare. Her shoulders slumped in utter defeat. The hopelessness in her eyes was a physical blow to Maya, who watched frozen from her register. Memories flickered. Her own mother, years ago, exhausted and humiliated, in a grocery line when Maya, aged 5, had spilled a carton of milk. The cold stares. The manager's impatient sigh. Page 31, subsection F? Maya thought, a spark of anger igniting in her chest, cutting through the numbness. Against a sick toddler? Against a mother drowning in panic? Before conscious thought fully formed, Maya moved. She stepped out from behind her register, ignoring the shocked gasp from Chloe and the bewildered stare of Mrs. Henderson, still clutching her plates. Brad, Maya said, her voice surprisingly steady despite the tremor in her hands. She just needs the restroom. It's an emergency. It's pouring rain outside. Where else can she go? Brad whirled on her, his face purpling with rage. You! Patel! Get back to your register! Now! This is none of your concern. Violating protocol, interfering with management. Spittle flew from his lips. Consider this a formal warning. Page 45, subsection A. Insolence. Maya held her ground, meeting Lena's desperate gaze. Ma'am, she said softly, ignoring Brad's tirade. This way, quickly. She gestured towards the back of the store, past aisles of garish polyester and chipped knickknacks. Employee restroom, down the hall, left side. Relief flooded Lena's face, so profound it was almost painful. Thank you! Oh God, thank you! She stumbled forward, clutching Lily tighter. You disobedient little... Brad roared, stepping forward, as if to physically block them. That restroom is for employees. Sanctioned use only. You have no authority. Maya simply placed herself slightly between Brad and Lena, creating a small corridor. She needs help, Brad, Maya stated, her voice clear and carrying in the sudden hush that had fallen over the nearby aisles. Shoppers had stopped pretending not to watch. It's the decent thing to do. Brad's control shattered. Decent? He bellowed, his voice echoing off the high ceilings. Decent doesn't pay the bills, Patel. Decent doesn't keep corporate off my back. Decent gets you fired. He pointed a trembling finger at her face. You think you're better than the rules? Than me? Pack your things. You're done. Terminated. Effective immediately. Security. He fumbled for the walkie-talkie clipped to his belt, his hands shaking with fury. Security to front registers. Code 5 factorial employee insubordination. Now! Lena paled, looking from Brad to Maya, guilt warring with her child's urgent need. I'm so sorry, she whispered, frozen. Go! Maya urged her, her own heart hammering against her ribs. Fired. Oh God, rent, food. The reality hit like ice water, but she pushed Lena gently towards the hallway. Go! Help Lily! Lena gave her one last agonized look and fled down the indicated corridor, Lily's cries fading slightly. Brad, having barked into his walkie-talkie, turned his full venomous attention back to Maya. The walkie crackled with a confused response. Forget security! Just get her out! Brad yelled into it, then focused entirely on Maya. The store was unnervingly quiet now, save for the rain and the distant pop music. Dozens of eyes were fixed on them. You ungrateful, entitled brat! Brad spat, stepping so close Maya could smell the cheap cologne layered over sweat. You think this is a charity? You think your little artsy-fartsy daydreams matter here? You're nothing. Replaceable. Minimum wage for minimum brains. You just threw away your pathetic little paycheck, for some stranger and her brat who couldn't control her bodily functions. How stupid are you? His words were meant to flay, to humiliate, to crush her spirit in front of everyone. Maya felt the heat rise in her cheeks, tears pricking the back of her eyes. She fought them back, clenching her fists inside the pockets of her oversized apron. She stared at a point just over his shoulder, focusing on a garishly bright 70% off sign hanging crookedly over the clearance rack. Don't cry. Don't give him the satisfaction. You violated policy, Brad continued, his voice dropping to a venomous hiss, but still loud enough for the hushed audience. You undermined my authority. You embarrassed this store. You think compassion pays the rent? Compassion gets you nowhere in the real world. It makes you weak, a loser, just like your... He stopped himself, but the implication hung heavy in the air. He knew snippets of Maya's struggles, the dead-end job supporting her mother's medical bills, the art school dreams deferred indefinitely. He wielded it like a weapon. Maya flinched. That one hit home. The numbness returned, a protective shell. She said nothing. What was there to say? He held all the cards. He was the manager. Page 31, subsection F. Page 45, subsection A. She was just Maya Patel, replaceable register jockey. Clean out your locker, Brad snarled, his chest heaving. Hand over your apron and name tag, now! And don't expect a reference. He held out his hand, palm up, demanding her identity. With trembling fingers, Maya unpinned the crooked name tag. Maya. She placed it in his sweaty palm. Then she slowly untied the blue apron, the coffee stain suddenly feeling like a badge of shame. She folded it clumsily and placed it on top of the name tag. The polyester felt cold and lifeless. Brad snatched them away. Now get out, before I have you escorted. He turned his back on her, radiating triumphant finality, and stalked towards his office, presumably to file the termination paperwork with gleeful efficiency. The silence stretched. Maya stood rooted to the spot, the fluorescent lights suddenly blindingly harsh. The eyes of the shoppers felt like physical weights: pity, curiosity, discomfort. Chloe looked devastated, tears streaming down her face, unable to meet Maya's gaze. Mrs. Henderson clutched her plates tighter, looking profoundly uncomfortable. Maya took a shaky breath. Move. Just move. She turned mechanically, avoiding looking at anyone, and walked towards the back hallway, towards the employee break room and lockers. The path felt miles long. The scent of cheap coffee and microwave popcorn from the break room hit her as she pushed through the swinging door. Empty. Good. She leaned against the cold cinder-block wall, pressing her forehead to the rough surface, finally letting the tears fall. Silent, shuddering sobs racked her body. Fired. Over trying to help. How would she pay next month's rent? How would she tell her mother? Compassion often exists in direct conflict with rigid systems and petty authority. Choosing kindness can come at a profound personal cost, challenging the very foundations of security and stability. Unseen by Maya, Brad, or the gawking crowd, another pair of eyes had witnessed the entire scene from the shadows of the home fragrance aisle. Concealed beneath a nondescript black beanie pulled low, oversized sunglasses despite the indoor gloom, and a bulky, rain-dampened trench coat, Elena Vance, 40s, had stood frozen, a forgotten ocean breeze air freshener in her hand. Elena Vance, two-time Oscar winner, box office titan, known for her intense dramatic roles and fiercely guarded private life. She'd slipped into Fab Finds seeking the one thing her wealth and fame couldn't reliably buy: anonymity. A mundane errand for mundane things. Batteries, maybe some unscented lotion. A desperate grasp at normalcy amidst the suffocating bubble of her celebrity. She'd chosen Fab Finds precisely because no one who knew her would be caught dead here. She'd seen Lena stumble in, the raw panic, the toddler's distress. She'd felt a familiar pang, the echo of her own exhausting early days as a single mother in New York. Before the fame, juggling auditions and daycare disasters, she'd seen Brad descend, a petty tyrant in a cheap tie, and she'd watched, heart sinking, as he wielded policy like a club against basic human decency. Then Maya stepped forward. Elena had held her breath. The girl was so young, so visibly weary, yet there was a steely resolve in her eyes when she defied Brad. Elena saw the fear warring with conviction, the slight tremor in her hands as she directed Lena to the restroom. She saw the way Maya subtly shielded Lena from Brad's physical advance, and she witnessed, with growing fury and profound sadness, Brad's vicious public execution of Maya's job and dignity. The cruelty was breathtaking, the way he deliberately attacked Maya's character, her intelligence, her dreams, her background. It wasn't just about firing her, it was about breaking her spirit. Elena had known men like Brad, fueled by insecurity, and the minuscule power their position granted them. She'd fought her way past them in Hollywood's trenches. As Brad delivered his final, humiliating blow and snatched Maya's identity, Elena's hand had tightened around her phone in her coat pocket. Instinct, honed by years of navigating paparazzi and public scrutiny, took over. Discreetly, angled downwards, but capturing the essential scene, Brad's snarling face, Maya's stoic defeat, the shocked onlookers, Lena disappearing down the hall. She pressed record. Just the audio was damning enough. Brad's tirade about compassion making you weak, a loser, Maya being replaceable, thrown away for a stranger's child. She stopped recording as Maya turned towards the back, shoulders slumped under an invisible weight. Elena's blood was singing with a cold, focused anger. This wasn't just wrong. It was a microcosm of everything toxic about the relentless grind faced by millions. The dehumanization, the crushing of small kindnesses by soulless bureaucracy, the abuse of power. No, Elena thought, her jaw set. This doesn't end here. She waited a few minutes, browsing aimlessly near the exit, watching Brad strut back to his office, radiating smug satisfaction. She saw Lena emerge from the hallway, looking pale but relieved, Lily quiet now, but clinging limply to her neck. Lena scanned the store, clearly looking for Maya, her face etched with worry and guilt. Seeing no sign of her, Lena hurried out into the rain, casting one last anxious look back. Elena moved then. She walked briskly to the customer service desk, where Chloe was wiping her eyes, trying to compose herself. "Excuse me," Elena said, her voice low but clear, devoid of its usual trained resonance, pitched slightly higher. "The young woman who was just at Register 3, Maya? Where did she go?" Chloe looked startled, then fresh tears welled. She... Brad fired her. He made her leave. She went to the back to get her stuff." Chloe sniffled. "It wasn't fair. She was just trying to help that lady and her baby." "Where's the back?" Elena pressed gently. Chloe pointed a trembling finger towards the swinging doors leading to the break room and stock area. "Through there. But Brad's in his office, and he's really mad." "Thank you," Elena said, offering Chloe a small, reassuring nod that felt alien on her usually guarded face. She pushed through the doors. The break room was stark, a scarred table, mismatched chairs, a humming fridge covered in outdated safety notices. Maya stood by a row of dented metal lockers, stuffing a worn canvas tote bag. Her back was to Elena, but Elena could see her shoulders shaking with silent sobs. A small sketchbook and a set of well-used pencils peeked out from the bag. "Maya?" Elena said softly. Maya whirled around, hastily wiping her eyes with the back of her hand. Her face was blotchy, her eyes red-rimmed and wide with surprise and residual humiliation. She saw a woman in a trench coat and sunglasses, odd indoors, but not unheard of. Yes?" Maya's voice was thick with tears. Elena took off her sunglasses. Recognition flickered in Maya's eyes, then disbelief. It was a face seen on countless magazine covers, movie screens, and award stages. Impossible. Surreal. Elena! Elena Vance? Maya breathed, her voice barely a whisper. Elena offered a small, genuine smile. Yes, I saw what happened out there. Maya's face crumpled again. Oh, God, she whispered, mortification washing over her anew. Being humiliated was bad enough. Being witnessed by Elena Vance was another level of nightmare. I, I just, she needed help. You did the right thing, Maya, Elena said firmly, stepping closer. Her voice was calm, authoritative, cutting through Maya's distress. What Brad did was cruel, unjust, and utterly unacceptable. It was bullying, pure and simple. Maya shook her head, fresh tears spilling. He fired me. He said horrible things. And he was right. I broke policy. I was stupid. Compassion doesn't pay the rent. She parroted Brad's words, her voice laced with bitter defeat. He was wrong, Elena stated, her gaze unwavering. Dead wrong. Compassion isn't weakness. It's the strongest thing there is. It takes courage to stand up like you did, especially when the cost is so high. She gestured to the tote bag. What he did to you was an abuse of power. It shouldn't stand. Maya looked bewildered. But what can I do? He's the manager. Fab finds corporate. They'll just back him up. Page 31, subsection F. She gave a watery, humorless laugh. Elena reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone. May I show you something? She tapped the screen and held it out, playing the video she'd recorded. Maya watched, her eyes widening in horror as she saw herself from the outside. Small, defiant, then crushed by Brad's vitriol. Hearing his words again, the venom, the public humiliation, felt like being flayed alive. Oh, God, Maya whispered again, covering her mouth. Elena stopped the video. This, she said, her voice low and intense, is evidence. Evidence of harassment. Evidence of wrongful termination based on an act of basic human decency. Evidence of a toxic work environment. This isn't just about you, Maya. How many others has that man bullied? How many small acts of kindness has he crushed? Maya stared at her, the wheels turning slowly. You recorded it? I did, Elena confirmed. And with your permission, I intend to make sure it's seen by the people who should see it. Not just Fab Fine's corporate, but the public. People need to see what happens in these places. People need to see the cost of policy over people. She paused. But it's your story, Maya. It's your face, your voice. I won't do anything without your explicit consent. It's your choice. Maya looked down at her hands, still trembling. The fear was paralyzing. Fear of retaliation. Fear of being thrust into the spotlight. Fear of never finding another job. But then she remembered Lena's desperate eyes, Lily's cries, Brad's sneering face as he called her weak. A loser. Nothing. She remembered the coffee stain on her apron, symbolizing years of being unseen, unheard, undervalued. She looked up at Elena Vance, a woman who wielded immense power and influence, asking her permission, seeing not a replaceable cog, but a person who had done something brave. Do it, Maya said, her voice gaining strength. Show them all. Elena nodded, a fierce light in her eyes. Okay, give me your phone number, go home, try to rest. Things are going to move quickly now. Maya scribbled her number on a scrap of receipt paper Elena provided. As Elena slipped her sunglasses back on, Maya hesitated. Why? Why are you doing this? For me? Elena paused at the door. Because someone once showed me kindness when I was drowning, she said quietly, the memory vivid. And because bullies like Brad only win when good people stay silent. Be ready, Maya. She pushed through the swinging doors and vanished. Maya stood alone in the dingy break room, the scent of stale coffee suddenly smelling different. Like possibility, like the first brushstroke on a blank canvas. Elena Vance didn't go home. She went straight to the sleek, minimalist penthouse apartment she kept in the city, a stark contrast to Fab Fine's fluorescent chaos. She bypassed the breathtaking skyline view, heading straight for her home office. She pulled the video from her phone, uploaded it securely, and began to type. Not on her official, verified accounts. Not yet. She crafted a post for a new, anonymous Twitter account she'd set up years before and never used, at Just an Observer. The username felt bitterly apt now. Subject: The cost of compassion at Fab Fines. Witness today. Manager Brad Thompson fires employee Maya Patel for letting a desperate mother, child violently ill, use the employee restroom during a storm. Listen to how he breaks her. Corporate cruelty, sheer kindness fired. She attached the video, ensuring Maya's face was blurred slightly, though her voice and Brad's face were clear, and Lena was entirely obscured. She included a transcript highlighting Brad's most damning quotes. Compassion makes you weak. A loser. You threw away your job for some stranger and her brat. Minimum wage for minimum brains. She tagged FabFine's official corporate Twitter handle. Then, from her personal, unverified Instagram, followed only by close friends and family, she sent a direct message to Marcus Jones, a former co-star turned influential activist with 20 million followers and a passion for workers' rights. Their message history was sparse but friendly. Elena. Marcus. Urgent. Check it Just an Observer on Twitter. Happened 30 minutes ago downtown. Raw footage. This girl needs backup. It's vile. Marcus. Whoa! On it. That manager? Wow. Okay. Amplifying now. You okay? Elena. Furious, but focused. Thanks, Marcus. She hit send on the Twitter post from @JustAnObserver. Then she waited. It was 3:17 p.m. By 3:45 p.m., Marcus Jones had retweeted @JustAnObserver's post to his 20 million followers with the comment, "This is disgusting. The dehumanization of low-wage workers is real. Brad Thompson and Fab Fines. Explain yourselves. Stand with Maya. Fire Brad. Fab Fines shame." The dam broke. Retweets exploded. Comments flooded in. Outrage. Personal stories of similar retail indignities. Support for Maya. Demands for Brad's firing. Hashtags #FireBrad and #StandWithMaya started trending locally by 4:15 p.m. By 5 p.m., they were national. News outlets, always hungry for viral human interest stories fueled by celebrity involvement, even indirect, picked it up. Oscar winner's secret recording exposes store manager's cruel firing. Compassion costs job. Viral video sparks outrage. Local TV vans descended on the Fab Fines location. But Brad, sensing the storm, had locked himself in his office and called corporate, panicked. Fab Fines corporate headquarters descended into chaos. The video was playing on multiple screens in the crisis management war room. The CEO, Arthur Finch, 60s, a man whose face usually radiated bland corporate optimism, looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. His head of PR, Diane Carlisle, 50s, was pale. "This is a PR thermonuclear bomb," Diane stated flatly. Brad Thompson isn't just a bad manager. He's the poster child for everything the public hates about big corporations right now. Cruelty, indifference, bullying, and it's tied to Elna Vance. "Can we confirm it's really her?" Finch asked weakly. "The recording quality is good. The source tracks back to her vicinity. Marcus Jones clearly knows it's legit. Confirmation is irrelevant. Public perception is that it's her," Diane countered. "Damage control is critical. We need to act fast and decisively." "What do we do? Fire Thompson? Apologize? Offer the girl her job back?" Finch ran a hand through his thinning hair. "All of the above. And more," Diane said, pulling up a draft statement. "Thompson is terminated immediately for gross misconduct and violation of company values, specifically harassment and creating a hostile work environment. Unconditional public apology to Maya Patel. Full reinstatement with back pay if she wants it, plus compensation for distress. Full investigation into store management culture. public commitment to revised customer compassion policies, and she took a breath. We need to reach Maya Patel before she talks to the press. Offer a settlement? A job at corporate? Something significant? Finch nodded grimly. Do it. All of it. Make Thompson's firing public as soon as possible. Find Maya Patel and get me Elena Vance's agent on the phone. Now. Meanwhile, Maya sat on the edge of her narrow bed in her tiny, art-covered apartment. Her phone, usually quiet, was blowing up. Unknown numbers. Texts from shocked friends who'd seen the video. Notifications from social media she rarely used. Friend requests, messages, tags in thousands of posts with hashtag #StandWithMaya. News alerts on her feed. Fab Fine's manager fired after viral outrage. Mystery heroine. Who is Maya Patel? It was overwhelming, terrifying, exhilarating. She watched the video of herself again, this time seeing not just her humiliation, but the defiance in her own eyes when she'd stepped forward. She saw the tidal wave of support. People shared stories of their own brads, their own moments of workplace injustice. Strangers offered job leads, financial help, and messages of profound gratitude for her small act. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Heart pounding, she answered. Ms. Patel? Maya Patel? A crisp, professional female voice. Yes? This is Diane Carlisle, head of public relations for Fab Fine's Corporate. First, on behalf of the entire Fab Fine's organization, I want to offer our deepest, most sincere apologies for the abhorrent treatment you endured today. Brad Thompson has been terminated effective immediately for gross misconduct. Maya was silent, stunned. We are appalled by his actions, which violate every core value we strive for. We are conducting a full investigation. We would like to offer you full reinstatement to your position, with back pay for today and any lost wages, plus additional compensation for the distress caused. We would also value the opportunity to discuss how we can make this right for you, perhaps in a role that better suits your— Diane hesitated. Obvious strength of character. Maya finally found her voice. It felt stronger than it had in months. Thank you for the apology. I appreciate that Mr. Thompson is fired. But I don't want my job back at Fab Fine's. Not in that store. Not under that shadow. Diane was ready. Completely understandable, Ms. Patel. We would like to offer you a position at corporate headquarters. Community outreach coordinator? It would involve shaping policies to ensure what happened to you never happens again. Salary. Significantly above your previous position. Full benefits. We are also prepared to offer a settlement to acknowledge the trauma of the public termination. Maya thought fast. Corporate fab fines? The belly of the beast? But shaping policies? A real salary? Security? I need to think about it, she said. Can I get the offer in writing? Absolutely. Emailing it now. Please take your time. We are committed to making this right. Diane sounded genuinely contrite, or at least expertly rehearsed. As Maya hung up, another call came in. Elena Vance. Maya? It's Elena. Are you okay? It's blowing up. It's insane, Maya admitted, a hysterical laugh bubbling up. Fab Fine's corporate just called, apologized, fired Brad, offered me a corporate job and a settlement. Good, that was fast. What do you want to do? I don't know. This morning I was scanning unicorns. Now, Maya trailed off. They want me to help fix their policies. Part of me wants to tell them to shove it. Part of me thinks, maybe I could make a difference. That's entirely your call, Maya, Elena said gently. You hold the power now. Don't let them pressure you. Take the settlement if you want. Take the job if you see a path. Or walk away. But know this. You have options now. Real ones. Because of you, Maya breathed. Because of you, Elena corrected firmly. You stood up. I just turned on a light. The world reacted because what you did mattered. What Brad did was unforgivably wrong. People recognized that. Elena paused. There's something else. The media wants you. They'll find you. Do you want to talk to them? I can have my team handle it, shield you, or craft a statement. Or, if you feel ready, you could tell your story yourself. Your voice is powerful right now. Maya looked around her apartment. At her easel, holding a half-finished cityscape. At her shelves filled with sketchbooks. She thought of Brad calling her artsy-fartsy dreams worthless. I think I want to talk to them, Maya said, a new resolve crystallizing. I want to tell them about Lena, about how scared she was, about how helping her felt right, even when I knew it might cost me. I want to talk about the millions of people working jobs like mine, treated like they're invisible. And, she took a breath, I want to talk about how compassion isn't a liability. It's the only thing that makes the grind bearable. Elena smiled, a real warm smile Maya could hear down the line. Then that's what you'll do. My team will connect you with a trusted journalist. You control the narrative, Maya. Always. Truth, when amplified, can dismantle even entrenched systems of power. Public accountability is a formidable force. Empowerment often comes after enduring profound vulnerability, and it demands careful navigation. The interview aired on a major nightly news program. Maya, dressed simply but confidently in her own clothes, no blue polyester, sat poised. She spoke eloquently about Lena and Lily's desperation, her split-second decision, and Brad's brutal response. She talked about the daily dehumanization faced by low-wage workers, the fear of speaking up, the crushing weight of being seen as replaceable. She didn't vilify all of Fab Fines, but she didn't sugarcoat Brad's cruelty or the systemic issues it represented. And she spoke passionately about compassion. The policy said employees only, she told the anchor, her gaze steady into the camera. But my conscience said human being in crisis. I knew the cost, and I paid it. But watching that video back? Seeing Mr. Thompson say compassion makes you weak? A loser? That hurt. But it also clarified something. The real weakness is hiding behind policy to avoid basic humanity. The real losing is sacrificing your decency for a false sense of control. Helping Lena didn't make me weak. It was the strongest, most real thing I did all week. The interview went super viral. Compassion is strength trended globally. Fab Fines, desperate to rehabilitate its image, announced sweeping changes. Revised restroom access policies prioritizing emergencies, mandatory sensitivity training for all managers, a confidential employee hotline, and a substantial donation to a single-parent support charity in Maya's name. They publicly offered Maya the community outreach role again. Maya declined the corporate job. Instead, she negotiated a significant settlement from Fab Fines, enough to cover her rent and living expenses for 2 years while she pursued her art full-time. It was a clean break, an acknowledgement of harm without entanglement. She also received another offer. A prestigious, socially conscious art gallery downtown, impressed by her courage and eloquence, offered her a residency. We see art in action, the curator told her. Your story is powerful. We want to give you space and resources to translate that into your work, whatever form it takes. Elena Vance quietly underwrote the residency's first year. She also became an unexpected mentor, connecting Maya with artists and activists, discussing the power of storytelling through different mediums. Their bond, forged in the fluorescent hell of Fab Fines, grew into a genuine private friendship. 1 year later, the gallery opening buzzed with energy. Soft light illuminated the white walls, contrasting with the vibrant, often challenging pieces on display. The exhibition was titled, Visible, the Weight of the Unseen. Maya's work was the centerpiece, not literal depictions of Fab Fines, but powerful explorations of invisibility, resilience, small acts, and the crushing weight of indifference. A large mixed-media piece near the entrance incorporated fragments of a blue polyester fabric, a distorted, blurred photograph of a scowling face, inspired by Brad, but not identifiable, and layers of text, policy excerpts overlaid with handwritten phrases, just help, I'm sorry, weakness, compassion costs. It was raw, powerful, and deeply moving. Maya stood beside her most personal piece, a stunningly lifelike charcoal portrait titled Lena and Lily, Rain. It captured the desperate relief in Lena's eyes as she'd been directed to the restroom, Lily's small face buried in her mother's neck. It radiated vulnerability and profound gratitude. Lena herself stood before it, tears streaming down her face. They'd reconnected months earlier after Lena saw Maya's interview. She hugged Maya tightly now. "You saved us that day," Lena whispered. "And look at you now. You gave us this beautiful reminder of kindness." Across the room, Elna Vance stood incognito, observing not the art, but Maya. The weary, defensive slump was gone, replaced by a grounded confidence. The haunted eyes now shone with purpose and hard-won peace. Elena smiled, sipping her sparkling water. She saw Chloe, who had quit Fab Finds soon after Maya's firing, and was now thriving at a small, ethically run bookstore, chatting animatedly with the gallery curator. Brad Thompson was nowhere to be seen. Fired in disgrace, his name synonymous with corporate cruelty, he'd reportedly struggled to find management work. The weight of his petty tyranny had finally crushed him. Maya moved through the crowd, accepting congratulations with genuine warmth and humility. She spotted Elena and made her way over. "Quite the turnout," Elena murmured, her eyes twinkling. "The work is extraordinary, Maya. Truly, you translated the pain, the anger, but also the hope, the defiance." "Thank you," Maya said, her voice thick with emotion. "None of this, the art, the voice, the freedom, none of it would exist without you seeing me that day, without you hitting record." Elena shook her head. "It existed the moment you stepped out from behind that register, Maya. I just helped the world see it too." She gestured around the gallery. This is all you. Your courage, your talent, your refusal to let Brad or Fab Finds define your worth." Maya looked around at her art, at the people engaging with it, at Lena holding Lily, now healthy and curious, in front of their portrait. She thought of the year's whirlwind, the terror of unemployment, the dizzying viral storm, the difficult choices, the relentless focus on her art fueled by both fury and a newfound sense of purpose. "It wasn't just about Brad or Fab Finds," Maya said softly, turning back to Elena. "It was about realizing my own voice mattered, that my compassion wasn't a flaw, that being seen, truly seen, can change everything." She touched the frame of Lena and Lily, Rain. "Even if it starts with just one person seeing you help another. True strength lies not in power over others, but in the courage to act with compassion despite the cost." Visibility, both seeing the unseen and being seen for your authentic self, is transformative. One act of kindness, witnessed or not, can create ripples that reshape lives, redefine systems, and prove that humanity is never truly replaceable. Acts of courage, however small, can resonate far beyond the moment. Sometimes the most powerful allies appear in the most unexpected forms. Speaking truth to power requires vulnerability, but silence often perpetuates injustice. If this story resonates with you, hit the like button and leave your story in the comment section. And of course, subscribe to my channel for more real, raw, and ridiculous stories. Your support means everything to this channel, and don't forget to share with anyone who might be struggling to recognize their own value. Thank you for watching, and remember, knowing your worth isn't selfish, it's essential.